Good morning, everybody. How are you today? So welcome to our webinar, How to Master CTF Competition or How to Get Started in CTF Competitions. So let's start about CyberTalents company. CyberTalent is online platform for arranging captures of flag competition for students or cybersecurity professionals across the world, and also providing the opportunity to be recruited within the platform. And of course, I will walk you through for the platform, and I will show you all the facility, how to register, how to participate in CTF competition, and how to apply for job as well. So for CyberTalents platform, actually at the moment we have around 20,000 members at the moment. And we are dealing with entities like corporates and universities within 60 countries. And within the platform, you will find more than 150 challenge. This is a public challenge, which is accessible anytime for free. You can go for the platform and try to solve too many challenges in different categories in cybersecurity, like web security, digital forensics, malware, reverse engineering, cryptography, and so on. Also for the job module, you will find we're offering a lot of job with some companies, national and multinational companies, full-time jobs and part-time job as well. And right now we arranged more than 100 CTF. Some of this CTF is online hosted and some of them on-site. Sorry, some of them is on-site CTF competition, and also providing trainings and meetup online also and physical location. For today's agenda, first we will talk about and we will define what is CTF or captures of flag competition, and we will discuss about the benefits from participating in this competition. And we will explore together some of the resources related to CTF. If you just get started to play a captures of flag competition, what is the best resources you need to read or to search at the beginning of your journey? And we will talk about some types of the challenges and how to register on the platform and join any competition. This is the first part of the agenda of today. The second part, we will go through some of the challenges. This is more practical part, which is a fun part. We will pick one challenge from each category on the platform in general information or web security and so on, and we will try to solve it together and check what is the tools required, what is the operating system we need in order to practice CTF. So first of all, what is a CTF or what is captures of flag competition? CTF is a competition related for the cybersecurity career. Here you can participate and of course demonstrate your technical skills ability. Of course, most of us have a lot of information about the cybersecurity or maybe a specific field in cybersecurity, but sometimes we need a location to practice these skills and solve some challenges, try to exploit some service, hack some virtual machine, for example. So captures of flag competition is the competition. You can do it anytime online or during a competition. For the captures of flag competition, there is two types from the competition. The first one is Jeopardy style. Jeopardy style, it's having some questions, if every question is specific task and having a specific point. For example, you have a category for cryptography challenges. You have a ciphertext and you need to encrypt it, to decrypt the text in order to find the solution, for example. Or maybe you have a website and you need to exploit the website in order to extract some data, to recover some data, to, let's say, dump the database username and password, which is simulating the real world challenges as well. This is the first type of the captures of flag. types. The first one called Jeopardy style. The second one is a little bit different. It's called attack and defense. And this is having normally you have two teams, let's say two teams in the same competition. One team is trying to exploit a specific service and the other team is trying to defend the system. Or in some cases, you have like a web server and this is having a lot of vulnerability. And your task as a team, of course, or an individual is to patch or fix the vulnerability on the existing service. And you have a specific time, let's say 1 hour, 2 hour, and you need to fix all of these vulnerability. Once of this time is already done, you need to connect it to a specific network and you have two teams. Each team is trying to attack the other team, whatever server or virtual machine, in order to solve the solution. Okay, this is the two types, which is the Jeopardy style or the attack and defense. They are different in the methods, but they are sharing the same objective, which is finding the flag. The flag is the answer of the question itself, or the mission, let's say. And here we have down an example for the flag. The flag may be a text, maybe a numbers, but normally you will find the flag is highlighted by the word flag. For example, congratulations, you are the best. But you will find the English word is written in different type, which is called lead, by changing some letters to numbers. So why we need to capture the flag competition in order to practice cybersecurity skills or whatever the skills you have? The first one, it's continuous practicing. You don't have to learn a lot of let's say certification or courses or read a lot of books in order to get the information. Of course, this is a time consuming and maybe you get boring from reading a book like 1,000 pages, for example. So it's much better to get started by practicing directly and to gain the knowledge and the information from different challenges. This is the first thing. Also, you are branding yourself, because by participating in capture the flag competition, normally any CTF platform having a scoreboard, and you have like a rank, specific rank on that scoreboard, and from time to time you are increasing or leveling up your rank. Then you can share this information with your CV, for example, or let's say your social media account from time to time. Also, it's less theoretical, like we explained, and more practical, because you are doing the practical stuff from the beginning. Also, it's more fun because CTF competition is simulating like a game. You have specific tasks and you gain a lot of points, and this point is increasing your rank. Normally, if you are an old gamer or you playing game right now, you will find any game having a scoreboard and you are trying to reach the top of the scoreboard. Also, one of the benefits is accessing to large community because let's say the self-study is not allowing to collaborate with different people, but participating in capture the flag competition is allowing you to access a larger community. For example, in CyberTalents platform, like we mentioned before, we have like 20,000 people. All of them is participating and collaborating in different, let's say, channels, like Slack channels. You will find down here and on the chat box a Discord link and the Slack and Telegram. You will find a lot of people interested in the same tasks, or let's say in the same field. You can communicate with them and start discuss a lot of things. So we have a lot of any CTF platform having different challenges or different categories related to a lot of topics. For example, network security, some stuff related to network, maybe capturing information for the network, maybe analyzing files collected from firewalls or endpoint or whatever the source here. Also, there is a web security, which is website have some vulnerability, and your task is to exploit these services and find the flag, of course. Also, there is one called malware and reverse engineering, which is analyzing, let's say, a file or an executable file, whatever this file is, Windows or Linux or Android application, and your task to analyze the file and extract some information to understand the behavior of the file itself. For the next one, which is a digital forensics, this is also related to analyzing some files or, let's say, hard disk or media in order to extract some information. For cryptography, your task here is to decrypt a ciphertext, which is message or a code or file encrypted using a cryptography algorithm, and your task is to extract this information and find the flag. For the next couple of the challenges categories, open source intelligence, which is collecting some information about a specific organization or a specific person. Also for general information, we will discuss about general information. It's just some question for indifferent topics. So right now we are talking about challenges. We have a lot of challenges, and there is a challenges type. So what is the challenge exactly? The challenge is just like question, let's say, or a task, and you need to solve this task in order to get some points. And any challenge have a description, which is the question itself, and difficulty level. Like any exam, for example, you have some easy questions or hard question, but in the CTF, everyone having a specific level and also have a specific number of points. For example, in, let's say, the score is different from platform to the another one. But in CyberTalent, normally you will find the easy task which is giving you 50 points, and the medium giving you 100 points, and the hard one like 200 or more. So the more harder is giving you a lot, the more points, of course. Okay, the next thing, the name of the competition captures the flag, because your task is to find the answer. The answer is called a flag here, which is sometimes it's written in English, for example, like I am the key, for example, and most of the time you will find the flag is highlighted by the word flag, because in some cases you will have a file having, for example, 1,000 or 10,000 of text, but there is one special and this text may be highlighted by the word flag. This is in some cases, or in different cases having a hash. A hash value is a unique number, looks like this one. And at the end, your task is to find the flag, maybe a word, maybe a number, or maybe a photo, or whatever. And of course, in this online session, we will discuss like 4 or 5 challenges to check how to extract or find these types of the flag. So of course, maybe it came in your mind, okay, you are talking about, I will skip a lot of not practical stuff. I will skip some of books. I will skip a lot of articles, but how I will get started in these topics? How I know the information I need to solve? Of course, if you are a beginner, if you are not participating before in any captures of flag competition, you need to read a lot of documentation in order to gain a knowledge on a specific field like web or reverse engineering. So I will show you a lot of resources right now, which is a website having a historical data related to the captures of flag competition, which is including a step-by-step guide in order to solve these challenges. So these guidelines or this article, it's called a write-up. This write-up is just a document describing the solution, how to solve the task, how to exploit a service, how to analyze a malware. All of this, it's called write-up. And of course, if you are beginner, you need to start by iterative. So what is the skills needed to play CTF? Of course, you ask yourself, should I take, before participating captures of flag competition, a specific training or a specific course? Should I take, let's say, computer science graduate, for example, in order to start? Or I have to study something else? Of course, there is many technical certificate, or maybe on the university based on your courses you are taking. Some of them related like operating system, network fundamentals, or whatever. This will help you to get started much better. But in case you have here let's say two general rules. The first one, the problem solving skills. You need to be how to solve the problems itself. Also, you should be persistent and keep trying all the time, because it's sometimes you have hard tasks which is very complicated, like reverse engineering, for example. You need to study a lot of topics like assembly, like programming. So you need to spend a lot of time in the beginning if you just get started in this field. But at the end, you are gain the knowledge day by day or month by month. Here is we will talk about a CTF rules, which is rules for participating in any CTF competition, not only on CyberTalents platform, but any platform related or offering captures of flag competition, you will find this rule. The first rule, you are not allowed to attack the platform, of course. Today, of course, we are talking about the hacking system, attacking a specific service, but you are not allowed to attack the platform itself or any other participant, of course, on the platform as well. The second rule, no external help. This is during the day of the competition. Of course, I will show you the schedule for the next competition, which one you can participate. But during the competition, maybe you are participating as individual or participating as in team. So you are not allowed to communicate with other team or another person on the same day of the competition. Also, you need to manage your time, because right now, if you are practicing on the platform, on the public challenges, you have your time. You can spend every day like 10 hours for solving challenges, no issues. But on the day of the competition, you have a limited time for all the questions. For example, maybe you will get 10 challenges in 7 hours. So you need to manage your time to solve as much as question in order to get a good rank on the competition itself. And finally, you need to follow the master rule for every competition. So right now, let's talk about the resources. So what kind of information I can start to search or read before started playing a CTF competition. Here I have 4 links. For example, of course, you need to find a lot of, okay. Now you need to search for a lot of platform. Feel free to interact with any platform, because any platform most of the time is offering something different. So you need to discover what kind of information they are providing, what kind of challenges they are providing. So here on that website, which is captf.com, is having a list, this list including an online platform offering the CTF, or on some time they are arranging a competition, of course. Here you will find the list for a lot of these, most of this website. This is a general website which is having a different category, like we said, maybe in web, maybe in forensics, maybe in cryptography. And down here you will find a specific platform for a specific task. Maybe you are interested only to participate in web application competition. You are not interested maybe in different one like the forensics or whatever. So you can go here for some website related for a web security only. Also, you have a forensics specific platform. And of course, down you will find offline machines. These offline machines, it's a virtual machine configured by default, having a lot of vulnerability. You can go and download the virtual machine and start practicing to execute your own code or whatever the exploitation technique you want. Okay, the second one is a GitHub. Of course, you can search by Google or whatever the search engine for a CTF resources. You will find a lot of GitHub repository having some information or some toolkit related for the CTF. Some tools will give you option to encode and decode data, some option to decrypt the encrypted data, and so on. So in GitHub repository, you'll find a lot of information if you just get started. So a lot of articles, a lot of information, a lot of tools. It will make the life easy, of course, when you start in the CTF. And of course, during the day or during the competition, you are free to do your own searching online, download any tool, extract or read some article. This is not related to the policy of the participating in the competition. It's like an open book exam, of course. Also, there is a website, it's called infosecininstitute.com. This website have a resources section. This section is not only for CTF, but you will find a lot of walkthrough or write-ups for a lot of competition or some tasks. And also you will find some articles related in general, for example, command injection vulnerability, what kind of this vulnerability, format string vulnerability. And if you go down, of course, you will find a lot of walkthrough. For example, here, this is a virtual machine having a specific vulnerability, and you can go and open the link and read the full steps of how to exploit this machine or how to solve this task, for example. Okay, the last link and the most important one for us right now for the write-up, or how I can check all the challenges which is already came in different or in old captures of like competition. There is one website, it's like a central database having all the calendar or all the event of captures of like competition. It's called CTF Time. When you open CTF Time, here you will find on the top a calendar having all the dates if you want to participate. For example, today there is no specific, let's say, competition, but 2 days from now you will have a competition here. The next week you have a competition. So you have the calendar, or you already know the dates. So you can check here the website of this platform in order to know the information, the rules, are you allowed to participate or not, what kind of challenges they are providing, and so on. Of course, some of them is providing a prizes in when you win the competition, a cash prize or whatever, some gifts. Okay, on the top bar here, you will find under archive all the past event if you want to check the history of the all of the competition, also tasks including the question itself or the challenges. And down here you will find the write-ups. This is the most important for us now. When you open the write-up, you will find here all the competition, having the tasks and maybe having the tag. And also here you can read the write-up. The write-up again is the step-by-step guide or documentation of how to solve these challenges. Of course, if you are interested in a specific challenge type, for example, web security, you can search here for web security or websec, for example, and you can filter the types of the challenges. And now you are accessing a lot of challenges related to the web security. And you can go here and read all the information. For example, here is a guide of how to solve this challenge, and this is the source code, for example, and here all the steps until you reach the flag. Again, the flag is the answer of the question itself. And of course, feel free in order to search by any search engine for captures of flag resources. You will find a lot in Google, in GitHub, in different places. But the most important for know the calendar or the international captures of flag competition, you can join CTF time. This is related for how to find the information, how to find CTF competition online. Now it's time to prepare our toolkit or our system in order to practice the CTF. What kind of operating system you need, or what kind of tools you need to install in your system. Do you have to install Windows only? Do you have to install a Linux distribution only? Now we will discuss this point. The first operating system you want to download, of course, feel free to customize your own tools. You can download your whatever the operating system, download whatever the hacking tool, but there is a distribution based on Debian Linux. It's called Kali Linux. You can download the official image from Offensive Security website. This Linux distribution by default having a built-in tools for let's say penetration testing and vulnerability assessment and digital forensics tool. You will find most of the tool pre-installed inside this Kali Linux. And of course you need a Windows machine, because some tasks like let's say analyzing a malware, most probably the malware is developed by Windows operating system. So you need in some cases to make a virtual machine or Windows system in order to analyze the malware and understand the behavior and how this malware affecting the operating system itself. So at the end, you need to use two machines, one for Windows and one for Linux. And of course, you will not use two laptops or two different desktops. You need just to download an application called a hypervisor. This is an application in order to simulate or emulate a Windows operating system, or any kind of operating system, maybe Android operating system. This is for saving your resources. For the hypervisor applications, there is a lot of varieties like VMware or VirtualBox or Hyper-V. Of course, feel free to download whatever the one you are interested in and then install your operating system. So for today's demonstration, I will show you the Kali Linux, what kind of, let's say, software installed, and how to solve some tasks using the Kali Linux as well. Okay, back to CyberTalents platform. CyberTalents platform is offering a lot of topics related with security, malware. You will find all of this information on the website, and I will show you the website right now. And like I mentioned before, there is more than 100 or around 150 challenge. This is a public challenge, of course, for free. You can go, you can access these challenges anytime. Some of them is a website, some of them is file you need to download offline in your machine and start your analysis or investigation or whatever the task want. So for the registration process, all you have to do is just open the website cybertalents.com. This is the main interface for the website. Of course, the first step, if you don't have an account, you need to create your own account, which is easy step. Just to go for the register tab and just fill your information like any website. Put your name, your preferred password, email address, some personal information like phone number, the name of university, the name of the company, and so on, and go through all the wizard until you finish the registration part. Then you will receive a confirmation email or whatever the confirmation for your account, and then you can start or practicing the captures of flag competition. Okay, back to the website. Once you creating your own account, you need to log in to the website and provide your username and password. And from here, you will redirect it back to the main menu. This is the main menu of the website. On the top of the website, you have the practice section. For the practice section, this is all the challenges. Now it's 152 challenges in all type. So if you want to access all the type of the challenges, go for all the challenges, or you can filter based on a specific topic. You can go for web security, you can go for malware analysis, you can go for digital forensics, and so on. For example, if you open the web challenges, here you will find also a lot of challenges. You can filter based on the level, what you want, basic, easy, medium, hard, or advanced. Then you can start practicing on the challenge itself. Okay, then the next thing, which is the jobs. If you are looking for jobs, you need to check the job page. From time to time, you will find a lot of jobs, and you will find, of course, sometimes a condition. You need to reach a specific point on the platform. For example, in order to apply for SOC analyst or web penetration tester, you need to solve a specific challenges, or maybe you need to reach a specific point, like 1000 point or whatever. So also you can filter here the jobs using the country, the location, the type of the job, and so on. So this is for creating the account and also to practice on the public challenges. So what about the competition? From time to time, CyberTalents is arranging a CTF competition in different region. You can go for the compete tab. Under the compete tab, you will find all of the CTF for this year, and of course you can go and check the history as well from the archive, because in some cases you will find some qualification round for a specific country. For example, you can find a qualification round for UAE, but you can participate just for practicing. Yeah, and in some cases, like the national competition, this is only for the national people, of course. So anyway, this is the place in order to find all the information about the competition. Again, this is the registration process. Just fill the information and you are ready to go and practice on the platform. And for joining the competition, all you have to do is check the compete part, and you will find a different category of the competition. Just to check the rules. If you are allowed, you can go anytime and join the competition. Some of the competition is individual competition, which is you can play individual, not participating with team, and of course you are not allowed to engage with anyone. And some of competition is a team competition. Most probably the national competition is a team based from 2 to 4 people. Also, it's mentioned on the condition or the rules of the competition, how many are allowed to join on the team. So in that time, you can create your own team from the same page, of course, and invite, or anyone can join your team in order to participate in the competition. So this is the first part for today, just exploring the platform, exploring different platform and some categories of the CTF challenges. Okay, the next part, which is more practical, of course, we will pick one challenge from each topic. For example, the first one here is general information. We talk about general information question. It just general information question, asking about specific info. For example, maybe asking for event, cybersecurity event name, a virus name, maybe attack methodology, like man-in-the-middle attack, spoofing, or whatever. Web attacks, like maybe one question asking for a specific attack method in web security, like SQL injection or command injection, for example. Sub question asking maybe for a person, a company owner, hacker name, or whatever, or maybe asking for encryption technique. So at the end, this is just general information question, and you will find this is easy task, and also because it's easy, it's providing 25 point on the platform score. Here is one example of general information question. Again, you can go for the practice section and you can filter what kind of topic you are interested to solve. If you are still beginner, you can check most of the general information question. Here is one question called back to history. And here we have any question having, of course, some information like what category, which is general information, the level, is it easy, basic, medium, and so on. Also, you'll find here some statistics about how many people tried to answer this question and how many people already solved the question, if you want to check the statistics about the question itself. And here is the point, which is 25. And down here, you will find the challenge description, which is the question itself. And of course, after you find the flag or find the solution, you can submit the answer here and press submit button. And of course, if you get the right answer, you will get the points of the challenge. So for our question here is asking, I am the first computer virus ever known. You will find me in your head, my name is, which is asking for a name or a name of virus, for example. And here you have question. Of course, this kind of question, you can go and Google or do whatever the research you want in order to know the answer, if you don't know the answer. So of course, if you check, for example, here, the question, let's take the part of I am the first computer virus and ask Mr. Google for the answer. Of course, you will get a lot of names, or maybe you will find, let's say, the first computer virus. And here we have the answer from Kaspersky and sometimes from Wikipedia and so on. Sometimes you will find a lot of answers, which is make you a lot of confused. So you can go and read the question again, and you'll find on the question, most of the time you will find a clue about the answer. So maybe you will find 10 names for the virus, and this is mentioned, this is the first virus name. But here you will find one clue, which is showing you, you will find me in your head. Of course, in your head, you have the brain. So now you are pretty sure 100% this is related to the question itself, which is brain. So it looks like very easy, this kind of questions. Okay, now we can move to the next type of the question, which is the web security. Of course, web security challenges, or the web security in general, is very important because right now we are on 2020. Everything on the cloud, web application, web server, or even complete network is already hosted online in different providers. So the web security is very important for many technologies, for many companies. So what is the information you need to know or understand before starting in web security field, for example? If you just get started and you want to know the basics or the prerequisite related to the web security, you need to understand many topics. For example, you need to know, of course, you are interacting with a website. You need to understand the technology, the programming language, or whatever, what kind of data related to this task. You need to be aware like something like HTML, CSS, in order to write the source code of the website, for example. Some scripting like JavaScript, or a different platform like Angular JS, for example. And Ajax, JSON, XML to be aware about what kind of data you can handle. SQL, for example, some exploitation, some scripting like JavaScript, or a different platform like Angular JS, for example. And Ajax, JSON, XML to be aware about what kind of data you can handle. SQL, for example, some exploitation, some scripting like JavaScript, or a different platform like Angular JS, for example. And or exploit techniques is related for a specific service. For example, SQL injection attack. SQL injection attack, you can extract some information from the database of the website by sending a customized query to the website if the vulnerability exists. So in order to write your own query, you need to understand how SQL work, how the database handling the query in order to send or retrieve the data itself. Also, you need to be aware about the web technology, it's web server technology itself, like PHP, ASP. Some websites is hosted on Windows operating system, some website is hosted on only Linux operating system. So we need to understand the difference between of these web technologies. Also here is, I'm sharing one website, it's called W3 Schools. This is having a lot of article and step-by-step guide, and also practicing some different, let's say, sorry. Okay, that again, W3 Schools is offering a lot of technology like HTML, JavaScript, or even some programming language like Python or Bash or whatever. Okay, let's make a try with one of the web challenges, which is easy one on the website of the CyberTalents. Again, if you want to explore the website, you can go for the main website of CyberTalents and you will find the practice, then select the web part. So our challenge is here, it's called admin has the power. Again, the challenge description is very important because sometimes you will find a clue about the answer or where you will find the answer of the question itself. And here you will find a website. Okay, let me open much better on Firefox. Okay, here is our task is to find some information in a website. So normally you start exploring the website. If there is different page or different link on the website, you need to go through all of them. Maybe you need to read the source code of the page, which is the HTML code, to know what is behind this page. Sometimes you need to use an automated scanner. You will find a lot of automated scanner on the whatever your security distribution. Like we said, you can use a Kali Linux, and this is providing a lot of web vulnerability assessment tools. It will scan the website and give you some exploitation or entry point for the website. Here, if you check the web page, you will find we need a username and password. So we are looking for a username and password, of course. So first step, if there is any link or any pages, you need to go through all of these pages in order to find all of the pages located on the website. Or you can use another automated tool to scan and to provide all the pages located on the website. And we will discuss about one tool after this task. Okay, in order to check the source code, you can right click and view the page source. And here you will find the HTML code behind the page. And down here, you will find a lot of information. Of course, if you are familiar with the HTML, you can read and understand what type of data here. And if you check here, we have some data, it's highlighted by the green color, which is called a comment. Comment is just a note written by the developer or the programmer in any programming language, and the compiler or whatever the application you are using is not executing these type of lines. So in HTML here, you will find some of these tags or this comment is inserted here, and you will find here one message, to-do message. It's written by the developer just for keeping note, having the username and password. So you found just a mistake by the developer. He left the username and password in just a note, and maybe he left the application, and then someone take the code and he upload the code to the production, and he forget to remove this comment. So right now we have a username support like you see, and you have a password number. So perfect. So we can go for the flag. If you check here, the username for support and the password, you will not find something related to the answer, or you will not find a specific piece of text related to the flag. You have just one message called your privilege is support. Maybe better you need to escalate your privilege or whatever. If you read the question one more time, you will find the question admin has the power, and the admin only who is the one can read the flag. This is the clue about the question itself. And here you will find the message. Again, of course, you can go and explore the web page. Maybe you find the flag or the answer hidden in somewhere. This is an easy challenge, by the way. We're just discussing the enumeration technique for any web challenge. Maybe when you when you open the platform, you will find a lot of techniques much harder. You need to do a specific or customized exploitation related to SQL injection or what type of the question. Okay, back to our challenge here. So right now we are accessing website. Let's talk a little bit, just a brief about the HTTP. So normally, as most of you already know, any websites is accessed using HTTP protocol or hypertext transfer protocol based on client and server architecture. Here is you have a client, the client which is your browser itself, like Firefox or Google Chrome or whatever. So your browser is playing the role of the client, and here we have a server, and this server is having a specific resource. This resource may be a text, maybe an image, maybe any kind of data. So you are sending the first request, which is called a GET request. This is to ask the server to find a specific resource. And then if the resource is found on the website will send back a response. This is having, for example, having the token for giving you the access to the website, or maybe giving you in the body message the information you ask it for, the video, the image, the content, whatever. So you need to intercept this communication in order to understand what kind of data sent from your computer or what kind of data received from the website. We can use a specific component. It's called proxy. Proxy, as most of you already know, proxy is okay, let's say this is proxy. Okay, the proxy is one component. In case if you are having a restriction for any website, you can go and connect to the proxy, and the proxy will send your request to the website, and we will redirect your request to the web server. Then the website will back with the answer. Then the proxy will forward the answer back to you. So what if we set up our own proxy application on our machine or our PC, for example? So you can intercept all the communication sent and received from the website. So you can read all the GET request and all the response, and also you are allowed to modify this request. By the way, you can enumerate a lot of information from inside your web browser. For example, if you are using Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, or whatever the web browser you are using, you can go and check some tools. It's called a developer tools. Inside the developer tools, you will find many components like a console, like a debugger, checking the network status, for example, with the website. You can refresh the page here, for example. And down here, you will find all the links you are already contacted to. And one of them, you will find admin power. This is the web link we are already using. Here on the right side, you will find something called an HTTP header. Like we discussed, you are sending some request and then you are receiving back an answer from the website. So here is you have all the components for all the information related to the header. This is the request sent from the user. Maybe it's a GET request or POST request, depend on the connection type. And down here, you will find the response back from the website. If you check the response, you will find a lot of information. For example, if you go down, you will find the server type and the version of the server using. For example, the server is using Nginx service with version 1.10.3. Maybe you can go do your, let's say, vulnerability research or exploit research, and you are finding a valid exploitation code for this type of server. Then you can use the code to exploit the web server. This is in some cases, but not for this challenge. Also, you know, this is a Linux web server, most probably Ubuntu also. So all of this information is useful during the first phase of the attacking, which is information gathering. You need to know more about the website itself. Also, you'll find here on the request some, let's go down. You'll find something called a cookie. This cookie is just data related to maintain your session with the website. In case you open another session with the website, no need to send your username and password again for the website in order to be authenticated for the server. But you can use a specific, let's say, text or parameter. This is having your information or your login information. For example, you will find here you have a role parameter with name support. It's expired on a specific date and so on. So what if we change it, the support role to another role? For example, administrator, root, or admin, or whatever. If you check the description of the challenge again, you will find the clue. You have to be admin in order to access the website or in order to find the flag. So we can manipulate this kind of information, which is the cookie itself. So you can just change the cookie. In order to change the cookie, I will explain two methods. The first one using the browser itself. The second one using a proxy application like we discussed. We will use application called a Burp suite. It's located by default in Kali operating system, or you can download the Windows version as well for free. There is a community edition available on the main website. So let's talk about the first solution. You can go down here. You will find a role. You can change this role, for example, for admin, because it's written on the question itself. The admin is allowed to access the website or access the flag. And let's refresh the page one more time. And down here, you will find hi admin, hi support, change it to hi admin. And here is your secret or your flag or your answer for this question. This is the first method. So for easy question, you can interact directly using the browser, but for the more advanced, let's say, challenges, you need to use a specific software for scanning, for collecting the information, or for intercepting the request and response from the website. Okay, the next application, it's called Burp Suite. Burp Suite is a proxy. You can download, like we discussed, from the main website of the Burp Suite. They're providing a community edition. And also there is a pro edition offering more features. And this is the main interface for the tool. First thing, you need to check the proxy settings, and you need to know which port is listening for the proxy service, which is your current ID or your loopback address, and this is the port number 8080. Then you need to configure your web browser or whatever your web browser. You can do it with Firefox, Google Chrome, or Internet Explorer, or you can download. Of course, you can go for the advanced settings and configure the proxy settings and change the IP address and port number, or you can download a simple plugin. It's called Foxy Proxy, for example, for Firefox. This is allowing you to set up many proxy links. For example, I created already before one for Burp Suite. If you check the information here, this is the IP address of the local machine or the loopback address, and this is the port number. So if you are sending request for www.google.com without enabling this proxy feature, the request will go directly to Google website, for example, and you will receive the response. But in order to intercept the request and response, you can change the proxy settings from here to Burp, for example. And let's send again one more time our request. By the way, let me close the Firefox because the Firefox is still having the same information for admin or the same cookie. And of course, I need to close the Firefox. And let's take the challenge one more time, which is admin power. Okay, for the first part, we already know there is username and password stored on the main page. Just provide support and the name of username and password. And now at the moment I'm logging as a support. Let's go back for the Burp Suite configuration or the Foxy proxy plugin and change your proxy. And now your web client or web browser is communicating through the proxy. Okay, let's refresh the page. Let's back to our Fox proxy tab and let's forward. Okay, until you reach the request. Here is we have a GET request sending to send to the admin power on a specific website. You can use method, it's called repeater. This method is used to repeat or resend again any request, and you'll find here a tab called repeater. So here you can customize or manipulate or change any parameter regarding your web request, and you will find the response here on the right side. This is much better and much easier, and also if you are dealing with customized scenario for web, it will be very hard to exploit from the web browser itself. So you need to use a tool to help you in order to exploit the data, intercept the data, change any parameter type or whatever. So once you click send, you are sending the request to the website and you are receiving the response for the web page here. But this is an HTML code for the page. If you're interested to check the page in graphical user interface, for example, you can go for the render tab and check the output, and here you have the output for the page, for example. I think this is not the right request. No support. Let's change to the admin and let's send one more time. Still we are not authenticated, so let me go back here and drop everything and back to the Firefox. Enable Burp one more time and send the request. Okay, let's use the repeater facility in order to send the request one more time. And from here, send, check the response. Okay, now it's working. We still support. You can manipulate or change the role here to the admin, of course, and send your request one more time and check the output here. Again, you have the same solution, of course, which is the secret flag. All you have to do is to copy this board in the flag section and submit your answer in order to get the points of the challenge as well. Okay, let's close and back to our slide. This is related for the web security and just one simple example of how to solve web security or how to find a tool related to the web security challenges on the website. And of course, we discussed an easy one. It's called Admin Has a Power. Of course, take your time to practice for the same one after the session. Okay, the next type of challenges, which is digital forensics. In digital forensics, actually the forensics, like the real forensics, when you watch a movie and there is a crime and there is investigation by the police or specific department on police in order to identify who did the incident. We have the same concept in digital forensics, digital data as well. For a cyber crime, you need to identify some evidence or some traces for someone doing, let's say, cybersecurity attack for company, attack for a specific person or specific target, in order to answer some question. And this question, like who, what, when, where, it will give you a lot of information to identify the source of the attack or the person who attacking the system, and extracting from the system or the website itself and evidence related to the attack. The evidence here may be a piece of code, maybe hardware, maybe a software like USB drive, image, or whatever, what kind of digital data. For the digital forensics challenges, there is many types from digital forensics challenges. Some of them related like data recovery. You are provided by mini hard disk or digital media, and you are your task is to extract or recover the data deleted or found the trace about attack, for example, or analyzing a capture file taken already from network application or firewall like we discussed or whatever, and you need to inspect all of the data in order to identify a kind of attack, let's say payload sent from a specific tool. Many techniques related to digital forensics. Let's pick one example, just an easy one. It's called search and trash. You will find, of course, search and trash challenge on digital forensics section on CyberTalents website. Here is the question itself. My hard disk is destroyed in instant and I'm trying to recovering my recycle bin. So now you understand you are dealing with recycle bin and you need to get some information. And here is we have the link. The link is downloaded one file. You can download the file to your operating system and start discover some information about the file itself. Once you downloaded the file, for example, if you download the file in Windows operating system, you find the file without extension, and Windows is not aware about any file without extension, so you cannot open the file. So we will use the Kali Linux distribution or the Linux distribution, whatever you want. Okay, before discussing about the challenge itself, let's check what kind of tool is provided in Kali Linux distribution. Like we said, Kali Linux distribution, it's a customized security distribution for penetration testing, vulnerability assessment, and also for digital forensics. You will find all the tool is categorized here by name, like information gathering, like vulnerability analysis, web application, database, and also down here we have a lot of tools related to the forensics. Okay, let's check our downloaded file. Here we have the file, which is search trash. Again, when you downloaded the file in Windows, the Windows will not recognize what type of the file of this search trash. So in Linux, you can use a specific command. It's called file in order to identify what kind of file you have. For example, if the file PDF or Word, Microsoft Word application, the file command will give you the answer or the type based on signature located inside the binary. Of course, any file is just binary data stored on the hard disk. The application will analyze the the data type and will locate for a specific magic byte or specific signature and will identify for you what type of file. So let's use the file command for search trash, for example. Okay, and here is we have the output. This is Windows Recycle Bin info2 file. This is for Windows 2000 or Windows XP. So here you have the information at least. If you try to open the file using any application or let's say text editor, you will find a weird data. So you are not aware how to deal with this kind of data. But file now is giving you the information or the entry point for the file. For example, if you use the cat command in order to check the content of the file, let's check the content of the file itself, which is search trash. You will find a lot of garbage data or encoded data, and you are not understand what types of this data actually here. Okay, but again, if you back to the file command, you found this is Windows Recycle Bin info2. Of course, sometimes you are not familiar with the topic or what kind of Recycle Bin info2. Of course, you can go for Mr. Google or whatever search engine and ask for the question. For example, you can open the Firefox here. And start searching for info2 file. You will find some information here in Wikipedia or any article. You can open the article and read article. You will find here some information. What type of file is info2? You'll find info2 is a file located in recycle bin, any recycle bin, which is the place you're moving your deleted file to the trash. And in some operating system, like old operating system in Windows XP, we have a specific folder called a recycler, and inside this folder we have a file called info2. This file is holding the names and some information about the deleted files. And of course you will find down here some tools in order how to open the file or extract the information from the file. And here one command line application for Windows, it's called RAF. In order to extract the data about the file. So at least we know the concept, what is the info2 related to the recycle bin, what kind of tools you can use in order to solve this challenge. So let's use the same tool, which is already discussed on the website. Let's open. Here is our downloaded file, which is search trash. I will move it to the application folder, and let's open command line or PowerShell, whatever you want. In order to run the command, the application name is RIF, and provide the name of search trash. And here you will get the information of the deleted file. This is the file deleted from the system. And if you check down here, you will find one of the file deleted is called flag. This is our flag convention. You already know the flag in some cases is highlighted by the word flag, and in some cases coming like MD5 hash or whatever the hash type. But here we found the flag, and also we found a lot of information. To answering this specific question, we find the flag. This is the flag itself. Maybe the question coming with different, let's say different type, asking you about the deletion date of a specific file. For example, what is the deletion date of or the deletion time for de.txt file? So for now, so far we got the original flag. And you can also use one simple way in order to find the flag. You can extract all the strings embedded inside any file using a command line called strings, and provide your file, which is search trash. Actually, we changed the directory. It is our file, which is search trash. You can use command line called strings in order to extract all the strings inside the file. Let's use search trash and show the answer page by page, and found here the flag text again. So you can copy and paste the answer to the platform. This is very easy or basic question about the digital forensics. Okay, back one more time to our slides. The next one is reverse engineering. This is very interesting topic, really. In reverse engineering, your task is you will get a file and a binary file, which is executable file. Maybe this file is Android file or Linux or Windows file, which is already executable. You can boot on any system and run it, for example. So your task is to find the code behind the binary itself. By default, in software engineering, you are writing a code by programming language, for example, C, C++, Java, or whatever. Then you are using a special component called the compiler. The compiler task is to convert the source code and make it executable or transfer it to the machine code. The machine code is a code like, let's say, a binary code, because at the end, the data is written on the hard disk or in the memory as a binary data. Here we have the executable code. So your task in reverse engineering is to reverse this operation one more time in order to get the source code. Of course, not getting the source code, you will get another code like assembly code, let's say an intermediate code between the executable and the source code. And using this intermediate code, you need to analyze the code operation, or let's say algorithm or whatever, in order to understand the behavior or the functionality of the application itself. Because normally you have application, what kind of information the application doing? Is it having username and password? Is it connecting to remote website? Is downloading malware activity from any external website or whatever? So you need to understand the code and do some analysis. This analysis, in some cases, called the static analysis. Without running the code, you can extract some information related to the code itself. And in some cases, it's called dynamic analysis, which is you need to debug or run the code itself and found all the information generated from the code, any file created, any file deleted, any communication to remote server. This is called a dynamic analysis. Okay, if you are interested in this type of challenges, you need to have some prerequisite. Of course, the programming is very important. At least you can understand or write simple code like C, C++ code. Also, you need to have a scripting language, because most of, let's say, some project or some even CTF challenges, you have something you need to automate. And maybe you are expecting from application a large amount of data. You need to analyze this amount of data and filter specific data. So you need to understand a scripting language. Of course, one of the best scripting language is a Python. You can do a lot of things for data types or different. Also, you need to understand system internals, how the operating system works, different operating system like Windows, Linux or Mac or whatever. Also, the different architecture, because normally some application is written to be working on different architecture like IoT devices or mobile devices. So you are dealing with different kind of processor like MIPS processor, ARM processor, and so on. Or the normal architecture for x32 and x64 architecture. And of course, any application have different methods or different, let's say, data structure. Okay, here we have a challenge called the pure luck. We will discuss about how to solve the challenge, which is very easy. Normally, when you have a reverse engineering challenge, like we discussed, you are downloading an executable file. This executable file may be a normal program or maybe a malware doing some activity. So I recommend using a virtual machine every time dealing with a reverse engineering challenge, because after you run the application, of course, maybe something unexpected happened, maybe you delete some file, maybe you corrupt your system. But we can use also application called disassembler or debugger. The disassembler is taking the executable file and transfer the file to assembly code, which is the intermediate language, like we said. And reading the intermediate language will give you an idea how the application works and what is the functionality provided by the application. Of course, there is many type of disassemblers or debugger. Feel free to read the articles related to reverse engineering. Some article you will find the solution using the ITA application, some related to Ghidra application, also for the debugger. There is Immunity debugger, X32 debugger, and so on. So normally you will find a lot of application in order to disassemble the application. For now, let's take a look for the IDA application. Okay, this is the main menu for the IDA application. And again, the IDA application is the disassembler and debugger also. And the compiler as well is providing many functionality. So all you have to do, let's drag and drop the source code of our challenge, which is pure luck. Okay, once you load the application to the IDA will give you information about the file type, because the file here, it's ELF. ELF is extension or the application type for Linux system. And sometimes you will find the application is a portable executable or an exe file, actually. Again, like we did in file command, if you have the file itself, you can go for the Kali Linux and use the same tool, which is file command with challenge itself. If you check here, we have application with extension out. So we are not sure what type of application you have. We don't know this application is running under Windows or running under Linux. So you can use the file command to identify the file type using the signature or the magic byte. And you will find here the type of file is ELF 32-bit. So this could work only under Linux operating system. In order to execute application in Linux operating system, just write the name of the file, which is pure luck, for example. And here you have the output, which is no flag are here. So you need to load the application on this assembler or debugger in order to understand the functionality, or where is the flag, or what is the objective of this application. So like we did right now, we just loaded the application to our IDA here. So once you loaded the application on IDA, the IDA will interpret or view the application in assembly language format. So if you are aware about the assembly, it's just instruction for the processor, like reading from memory, sending information to the memory, putting some information in place called the stack, taking information from the stack. This is just instruction related to the processor itself. So you need to understand, not to be professional in assembly and read your own application for assembly, but at least understand what type of application, how the function handled inside assembly, how the file read or written to the system, and whatever. Just the basics about the assembly. On that case, on that situation, here is one assembly code, but still very weird. I cannot find a specific entry point for the application or a specific function. So you cannot analyze the code from here. But if you back to the challenge, again, we just discussed two commands in order to enumerate or get some information about the file. The first one is file command to identify the type. Also one command called strings in order to extract some strings from the application. If you run a strings application against our file, which is pure luck, here you will find let's make more. Here you will find all strings embedded or located inside the executable itself. You will not find so many strings available here, but you will find here an interesting text called a UBX. If you do a research on Google about what is the UBX, you will find this is a compression technique for the executable to make it smaller. And also, if you are using debugger, you will not find the same output if the file is compressed. You need to decompress the file at the beginning, then you can go and analyze the source code itself. Of course, after finishing the research, you will find a specific command or a specific application in order to extract the executable data using a command UBX as well, with extension -E or option -D, sorry, for decompression, and just select your output, which is pure luck.out. So right now our application is decompressed, and here we have the output on the same name. So all you have to do right now, you can go and load the new version or the decompressed version from the application of pure luck. Okay, override. Again, the file type is identified as ELF for 386 or 86 processor. So now you know the operating system type and also the architecture for the file. And right now you have some code which is make more sense. Here you have a lot of function, all the function included on inside the code, like string copy, string length. This is a C function. And down here you have another function. And on the right side, you have a graph. This graph is representing the code itself. Of course, you will not find the C code or the source code like C or C++, but again, this is intermediate language, which is the assembly language or the instruction executed by the processor itself. So if you are aware about the assembly language, you can read the code from here. Here we have the main function, and we have some variables is having a specific pointers or maybe sometimes the values. And we have some instruction related for the processor itself, like push or move or pop or whatever, what instruction. And again, we have here one command executed, which is /bin/date. This is a command in Linux in order to show the date. And here we have one parameter in order to extract the hours and minutes and seconds on the system. And if you go more down, you will find the best option of the IDA. It's showing for you is if there is a branch like if we have a condition, if you are writing application in any programming language, for example, if condition. So you have to condition. In case of the condition is true, you will go on the right side. If you have condition with false, you will go for other side, for example. So here we have a branching in order to explain what type of instruction will be executed if we have the condition true or false. And of course, here we have the jump instruction. This is for assembly language. Jump instruction will check specific condition. For example, here we have a comparison between a variable and number 0. If that condition is true, is returning number 1, we'll go on the right side. If returning 0, we'll go for the left side, and so on. And if you go down here, you will find if our condition is true, we will go through the right side. And again, we have here the move instruction. The move instruction in assembly is like assigning a value in any programming language. When you write an application like x = 0, y = 1, in assembly, you have the relative instruction, which is move. You are moving a number to specific variable. Like here we have x = 66, which is in hexadecimal. H here representing the hex value, for example. So we are moving a lot of value in some. Okay, let me go up. Here we have the first value 66, then 60C, 61, all the value in hexadecimal. If you have another application in order to convert for the hexadecimal, or you can use a built-in function here in order to, let me highlight, right click. the interface here is a little bit different, but it should have an option in order to convert the hexadecimal to the character. So you can go and find the value related for this number in hexadecimal in ASCII. And also if you go down, you will find down here more instruction. At the end, you will find here, if you are going through this path, at the end you will find, or you will get the output, which is no flag already, which is the same one we have on our example. But if you make the application is executed in this way, or this condition is true, you will go through another block or another branch, and you will find another solution, which is printing another string located on the code itself. So which is most probably this code is flag. So this is one option in order to read the assembly code. Also, the IDE application is providing the decompiler facility, which is you can press anytime F5, and here you have something called a pseudocode. Pseudocode is a code like C code or C++ code. So here you can find a variable like v33 equal to something. Here we have a command be open executing some data. Down here we have some variables, for example, down here, and so on. And again, we have if condition. If you are familiar with C and C++, so you can understand the condition. So we are comparing three variables and checking the three variables. If the output is true, I will print a specific output. If the function is different, I will print a specific function. So in our case, we have three variables. These three variables is generated by our command, which is date. So our application actually is checking the date of the system. If the hours and minutes and seconds having the same time, this is will print the flag. If the application, sorry, if the hours and minutes and seconds are different from each other based on the condition down here, so I will not execute the right flag, but I will print another string which is no flag already for you, or whatever the function. So your task is to extract some data from the file, or you can change the execution of the file, which is batching. We call it batching the file. You will change the code itself in order to do another instruction, for example. And you can do it by either application or any other debugger, for example. Like we discussed, there is many debugger like X32 or whatever, or Immunity debugger or Oli debugger, if you are familiar with that topics. Okay, so I will leave the challenge for you. Now you know the idea. Again, if you back here to the assembly code, for example, down here you will find some conditions. This condition is just a comparison between something, we call it register. But here, of course, we don't know the output for the EDX, for example, or what is included in EX. But you can batch the executable itself, or change the value of any register in order to match the comparison. So you can go for here and select the instruction and go for edit, and let's say batch a program and assemble, and change the instruction for EAX and click OK. Okay, this is for one instruction. This is for the first object. If you still remember, we are comparing the hour to the minute, and minutes to the second, and the second to the hour. If you check again one more time the condition. So this is the first checking function here. The second one, again, if you change it, the instruction to the function, let's make it batch a program, assemble. Again, you can change By the way, you can make EDX and EDX, EX and EX or whatever, but since we have the same register is used, so the comparison should have the same value and should return 0, for example. Again, we batch it the next one. For the last one, you can do the same by edit function. Again, batch program, not function, assemble and change the register. So right now we batching the assembly code, and here we have 3 conditions, and we know this condition will return the right value, and we'll go for the next pass here, which is printing the flag for us. After making all the modification, just save again same place, which is edit batch program, and go and apply the batch for the input file and click OK. Back to the Linux operating system. Provide your username and password. And let's execute the application one more time, which is pure luck. Out, of course. And this time we are printing the flag, which is UBX is so easy. This is one solution for the challenge. Also, you can search for the write-up. You will find many write-up in order to solve the challenge itself. Okay, back to our slide to talk about the last part. Okay, the last part is related for the cryptography challenges. Actually, the cryptography is a technique for encrypting the data, whatever the data is, a file, is a letter, is images, or whatever. So we are processing the normal data or our plain text data, which is a human readable, and we are converting this data to another, let's say, another format, which is a ciphertext. For example, if you have a word like secret, you can change the order of number just to encrypt the data. This is very simple technique and old technique as well. If you check the history of the cryptography, you will find there is an old cryptography techniques and there is a modern cryptography technique. The modern cryptography technique is a technique used with the digital data, like our data for today, for example, videos or media or whatever. But the concept is the same. You have a plain text and you need to encrypt the text in order to send this through any medium like cables, medium like Wi-Fi, radio frequency or whatever. And you need to encrypt the data based on a specific key. You will find too many types of encryption, something called symmetric encryption using a specific key, for example, in order to encrypt and decrypt the data. Also, there is a public key cryptography, which is based on 2 keys like public key and private key. This is like the one used in websites authentication, for example. Okay, here you have one challenge. It's called crack the hash. One of the type of the challenges related to the cryptography is to crack hashes, for example. The hash is just a unique ID just to generate it for any file for integrity reason, or maybe generated for the password, for example. And you can use a specific tables in order to, by the way, the hash by default is not crackable because the hash is one-way encryption. You cannot reverse back the hash to the original value, which is the password or the file or whatever. But regarding the text or the password, you can use a pre-computed tables in order to allocate the hashes. These tables having the string itself and just generated hash based on the hash type, maybe MD5, maybe SHA-1, and so on. So you are selecting a specific hash and you go through all the list or all the dictionary in order to match your hash with one included on the table. Once you found the hash, you will check the password or the source of the hash itself. Some of the website is offering the facility of hash cracking, of course, against database already pre-computed before. So here we have one challenge called crack the hash. You will find again the challenge description. A hacker leaked the below hash online. Can you crack it or know the password for the hash? And here we have the hash. Of course, you can use some tools in order to crack the hashes. There is some tools like John the Ripper or what else? Hashcat, for example. This is for cracking the hashes, and they are offering two techniques for cracking. The first one is dictionary attack and also brute force attack. Brute force attack is trying all the possibility for the password. You just set a condition. I need to crack the password, and the password may be between 1 to 6 characters or 1 to 6 letters. And the other one is a dictionary attack. Dictionary attack, you are providing a list of the password and you are trying to brute force regarding to this table or this dictionary, for example. Not only for the hashes, but maybe the cracking is applicable for the online form. If you have a website and you need to try all the possibility for admin login, for example, in order to gain access to the website. So here in our case, we have just hash. Again, you can use Google or you can use a tool. So it's much easier to start by the Google because maybe the hash is already on the database of any website providing the hash cracking option. Here you will find a website called MD5 Chrome Web having a record for MD5 hashes. If you check the page for the hash, you will find the MD5 hash is reflected using the flag I am the flag. So which is already very easy. So because the hash is already included on online database, we found the flag here. But in some cases, you need to create your specific dictionary and start to crack the hash by yourself. Offline, I mean using Kali Linux or any Linux distribution. Okay, this is a simple task for the cryptography. When you go through the website, you will find the medium and hard challenges. You will find, for example, file encrypted using a specific algorithm technique like ransomware or whatever. And your task is to read the source code of the encryption, and you need to decrypt again the file or the image, for example. But this is just for demonstration, one easy challenge related to crack the hash. So finally, for the requirement for joining competition, at the moment you'll find all the competitions is online. So all you have to do, you need a PC or laptop. You need to set up your virtual machine. Much better to make two virtual machines using application called hypervisor. You can use VMware, Hyper-V, VirtualBox, whatever the one you are preferring. Then download the image for Kali Linux. Just Google for the Kali Linux, but the official website is Offensive Security. You can download whatever the image you want. You will find pre-made copy for the virtual machine or VirtualBox or whatever the application you are using. And of course, you need a good internet speed because sometimes you will find a large file, maybe 500 MB, 600 MB. You need to download this file in order to analyze the file or whatever. So much better if you have on the same day of the competition a good internet speed, if you are participating from your home or whatever. And also for the web application, of course, you need an internet connection for solving the web challenges. But for the rest, you can download the file like we did, the executable files, or whatever the file offline, and then you are doing investigation without connecting to the internet. Maybe you will need the internet to do some research about specific tools, to look for a write-up related to the same scenario you are dealing with, and so on. And of course, some challenges, some competitions having, like we said, the normally 7 or 8 hours. This is the time for the finals. For the qualification round, you have from 2 to 3 days to spend for the solving the challenge. So maybe you need a lot of coffee in that time to spend more time for solving the competition. So at the end, I hope all of you is enjoying this short session, and I know we shared a lot of information, but don't be confused. this is just an introduction for all the topics, but later on, if you are interested in on a specific topic, you can go and just read some documentation or write-ups and just start it if you're just interested for the web security, for example, only malware reverse engineering only, and so on. And again, thank you so much and see you soon. Bye-bye.